Gigi says, any tips on raw feeding in a multi-cat home? So I would suggest having a plan in place and stay super organized. I know at first it might seem daunting and overwhelming, and you even mentioned this, that you have different cats that have different sizes, weights, and different caloric intake requirements. So really you're going to have to do each individual cat's food and batch that out as you see fit. For example, for Jericho, I weigh him weekly and I do his food weekly. I'll put a video to my entire process in the description. But basically, I like to do it weekly because then I can keep track of his weight and adjust food as necessary. And then I portion everything out into 2 containers for one day. That way I can warm it up a little in a warm water bath for each meal. So you're going to have to need a lot of freezer space and a lot of planning and organization. But once you have that routine in place and you're monitoring your cats weekly, and then you say, okay, I figured out this is the right amount of food for each cat, then you just repeat that process every week. And Gigi actually purchased my Switch Your Cat to Raw ebook and some of my printables, so I highly suggest using those printables. If you don't like to use printables, I personally use Notion for my business and also for tracking Jericho's litter box habits and how much he's eating and his weight as well. I really like Notion because it's super detailed. Like, you can make it look exactly how you want it to look. It's basically pages within pages within pages. You can put tables, checklists, bullet points, headings, toggles to hide information. It's pretty crazy the amount of stuff that you can do with it. Let me know in the comments if you would prefer something digital, because I'm happy to create my cat care binder as a digital version using Notion. Or if you prefer something that's digital in a program called Canva, that's also free like Notion. I use Canva for all of my graphic stuff because I'm not a graphic designer. But with Canva, I can make something that's editable. So you would create a Canva account, put all the information in, then you can save it as a PDF and print it. So let me know in the comments what you prefer. There's also another option for clickable, like an interactive PDF, like a digital planner. I'm sure you've seen those around. Anyway, just let me know what you prefer and I'll try to create something. Gigi also said, million thanks for all of the awesome work that you do. Thank you for your support in my business and also taking the action to feed your cats better. Alexandria says, wish you would do more brand reviews. So here's the problem with that. I don't trust many of them. The only brands that I'm going to talk about moving forward are those that make it on Susan Thixton's 2023 list. If you're not familiar with her, she runs the website truthaboutpetfood.com. She was on the documentary Pet Fooled. That's how I learned about her and got into this whole world back in 2017. So she requires proof, documents, and verifications of all of these brands to provide if they're human grade, raised humanely, organic, non-GMO, etc., like how they're processed, how they're packaged, really, really in-depth list. It's more than just a bullet point list. It's a 44-page document, okay? Like, it really goes in heavily on it. Highly suggest it. I'll put a link in the description. But my main focus moving forward is going to be on nutrition and homemade cat food. So with nutrition, I'm going to teach you everything that I know, everything that I've read in books, nutrition programs, classes, online programs, everything, what I've learned from vets, papers, research papers, studies, everything. So I'm going to make that nutrition course, and it's going to be focused on making homemade cat food using formulation software. So I know a lot of you subscribed from my worst cat food brands video and other review videos of commercial food, and I guess I'm gonna have to invite you to unsubscribe if you don't care about nutrition or homemade cat food. You know, I'm not saying that to be mean, that's just the honest truth. Catitude and many others have asked me, what do I need to add to this meat grind to make it complete? So that's a very complicated question because formulating a diet really relies on how much of each ingredient are they using. Is it a pound of ground beef? Is it 80% lean, 20% fat? Is it 90% lean, 10% fat? And how much of the heart are they adding? Are they including the separable fat? Are they not including the separable fat? How much liver? How much bone? And all of that I need to put into formulation software. I need those details because the amount of fat is going to affect everything, and the amount of heart, that's going to affect the amino acids. The amount of everything is going to affect everything. Additionally, I don't know anything about your cat. How old is he? What life stage is he in? Is he active? What does he weigh? What's his body condition score? Is he underweight, ideal, overweight? There's a lot that goes into it and would require a one-on-one consultation so that I can collect these details from you, put everything into formulation software, and then fine-tune the diet. Additionally, like, what ingredients do you want to avoid? What ingredients do you want to use? Do you want to use a premix supplement, or do you want to use whole foods? So there's a lot more that goes into it than I can ever cover in a YouTube comment. I'm sorry, I know that's not the answer that you want or expect, but it's just the truth. But again, I'm going to make that nutrition program so that you can take control of it, since you are your cat's best advocate, so that you can create homemade food confidently. And there are formulation softwares out there, but it's much more helpful to understand nutrition, and not just the numbers, but also the ingredients. Does what we're using actually make sense? So a comment from Noel kind of goes along those lines, requesting actual recipes, research, and wisdom behind them. So again, I am working on that nutrition course, and I'm going to go in deep. Again, everything that I know about nutrition, and so that you can really take control. And then also, I'm hoping that I can do this is create recipes that everyone can use, because the Animal Diet Formulator, that's the formulating software that I'm learning to use right now in my current nutrition program. They have ready-made recipes on their website. So there's only 3 for cats, and of course there's like a long list of recipes for dogs, but they do have recipes on their website. So I'll have to figure out how to do it. So if you are interested in that, go ahead and paw that subscribe button and paw that notification bell so that you don't miss those videos. I think I'll probably publish the first one next week, so definitely want to hit subscribe. Additionally, I have the YouTube membership and Patreon memberships. Those members, thank you to everyone that's part of my membership, I appreciate you. Those members get first access to everything that's new that I'm doing. New ideas that I'm working on, and then you can give me direct feedback. Here's what I need help with the most, and then I fine tune it to solve those problems. So that's really the best way to get direct access to all of my newest content before it's released, so that you actually have a say, more of a say, before it's published, and then you leave a comment, and then I have to make a new one. So if you want to have like direct feedback and direct an impact on what I make and what I teach, then that's the best place to get it, is in those YouTube memberships or Patreon memberships. So there are links in the description for all of those things. Noel goes on, because I'm literally in pet nutrition class and Google is more helpful. I need someone to trust. My AVMA classes are sponsored by pet food companies. Yes, that's very unfortunate. If you go to the AVMA, well, if you search AVMA sponsors, you'll see that 3 of the main kibble, they also produce wet food, but they are known for their kibble, especially their prescription foods. They're the ones that sponsor the AVMA, and the AVMA is responsible for accrediting schools for the DVM curriculum. So, of course, the pet food companies are going to have a heavy influence on the veterinarians that take those classes, because they're the ones funding the organization that accredits these schools. I also came across a course for veterinarians from the American Animal Hospital Association, and it's called Become a Pet Nutrition Champion. So it's geared towards veterinarians that want to learn more about nutrition, which is right there, just proves that they aren't nutritionists unless they continue their education and become a nutritionist after they complete their DVM. And the very first lesson says, learn how to read pet food labels. Like, how crazy is that? Like, I've been told by vet students that they do actually learn how to read pet food labels, but in all of the programs that I've taken that are taught by veterinarians that are nutritionists, they say that they don't learn anything about nutrition in school. Maybe it's because they're older and the school curriculums have changed. But guess what? This course is proudly brought to you by one of these kibble and wet food companies, this $1 million pet food company. They are also going to include diet history sheets, and this is something that I've seen in textbooks geared towards veterinarians in regards to nutrition. I mean, frankly, I believe that veterinarians should be involved in nutrition, just not when that education is sponsored by a pet food company. You might also see that they're going to ask you specific questions. So I'm going to include all of this stuff in my course. That way you can be confident and also prove to your vet that you know what you're doing. That way you don't feel like you're being bullied to feed a certain food. I mean, that might still happen, but at least you can go into the appointment and be like, here's what I'm feeding and here's how much my cat weighs, he's ideal condition score and this and that, and and you can say all of these things confidently and also show that you know what you're doing because you understand nutrition, you understand what's good, what's bad, and you have a complete and balanced recipe that you're using. That way you can prove, and your cat's condition is going to prove everything that your vet needs to know, but vets might tell you like, oh, I need the clinical studies, I need the references, I need the resources. So you'll be able to provide all of that. I'm going to include studies and papers and all of the resources that I talk about will be in that course as well. So visit the description with all of those links. I'm going to publish it on YouTube so you don't have to join the membership. That's just if you want early access and if you want direct feedback and want to provide direct feedback as well. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what questions you have that I didn't answer in this video or other videos. I have tons of videos. Thank you so much for watching.